it's real interesting whenever you want to talk about who's the best, the pound for pound, right? It's interesting because it's ridiculous. And the weirdos that go into this, and I find myself being one of those weirdos more and more, they're the same weirdos that sit down and discuss the different possible integers as to how Batman could beat Superman. But there is some compelling arguments out there. Let me back you up. If you were to ask me who the greatest professional wrestler of all time is, the answer is Hulk Hogan. And the only person that would compete with Hulk Hogan would be Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. Why? Because it's a profession. And those are the guys who made the most money. The end. And somebody else tried to come in and go, oh no, it's Seth Rollins. Look at what a great athlete he is. Or Shawn Michaels. He comes off the top rope. Hulk Hogan would never even climb to the top rope. Who cares? Hulk made 5 times the money. Therefore, Hulk is the best. The end. And I would be right. And a lot of other people would want to come in and argue. Well, okay, let's just stop right there. Then let me ask you, when your career is over, and it will be over very shortly, would you rather have a jackpot like Hulk Hogan, or would you rather that you came off the top rope like Shawn Michaels? Is Shawn a better athlete? Was he more skilled? Was he more dynamic? Do you see some bigger honor in that? Or would you rather have a jackpot full of money like Hulk Hogan? There's not a wrong answer to that. I could respect either one. But at some point, you have to ask yourself that question. I will hear guys come out and say, I'm a prize fighter. I want money. I only fight for money. Well, that's one way to do it. I mean, there's a couple of things going on here. Are you in the business of winning fights? That right there, per the industry, could double your yearly income. You get your show money, you could get your win money. You win all your fights, you double your income. That, very smart, good for you. Or are you in the business of selling fights? Scott Coker and Dana White haven't thrown a whole lot of punches between the two of them, but they've sold some fights. I mean, do you see the difference? There's a fair question there. There's something that has to be asked. As I look ahead to Adesanya and Whitaker, there is so much on the line here. So much. I don't know that I have ever seen a fight in my life where most people just stand back and agree and go, okay, whoever wins this fight is the best fighter in the world. It seems as though we go see a very good fighter have a very good performance and sometimes a lopsided matchup to begin with, and we declare that he's the greatest fighter in the world. We all do that, but it seems to be all we can do. It's hard to know who truly is the best in terms of a contender. The champion's pretty clear for each division, but who truly is the top? It's just kind of tough. There's not an architecture in place. There's not a tournament or a bracket that guys come through. So when you get a champion, in Adesanya's case, an interim champ, we know for sure that's the best contender. Then you've got your champion in Whitaker, who also has a 12-pound gold belt that says he is the absolute best. One of these really rare and special things. It's also going to do the live attendance all-time record. It's also going to do the live gate record. We'll see what the rest of the numbers are, but some very special things are going to happen on this night. Oh, and by the way, if there's ever a night to prove you're the best in the world at something, it's when the most amount of people are watching. I have watched the music stop. Everybody's got a chair except Jon Jones, right? That's what we saw when Stipe beat Daniel. The biggest fight that Jon could possibly have was Daniel. And all Daniel wanted to do was get back in there with Stipe and talk of Daniel and Jon, which was all the talk. Every press conference, every media opportunity, every time Daniel got talked to or Jon got talked to or Dana got talked to about Jon or Daniel, it was about getting them together. That has come to a screeching halt. It's over. It's gone. Daniel is now fighting Stipe, and Daniel has said this will be my last fight. Now, there's still fun things that you could do with Jon, but none of them are built in. They have to be nurtured. That seed has to be planted. The sun needs to come down. The water needs to be, right? You've got to nurture something. Jon is sitting at home not doing any of that. And he's one of these guys that just makes me wonder, and it is relevant to the Adesanya-Whitaker fight, because if Whitaker gets the jump on Adesanya, Whitaker will be recognized as the pound-for-pound greatest. If Adesanya gets the jump on Whitaker, not only will Adesanya be the world champion, recognized as the pound-for-pound greatest, he will become the biggest star, the biggest draw in the UFC. That's what happens when you win a world championship in front of the biggest crowd of all time. That's what happens. So now you're Jon. The music stopped. You got nowhere to go. Your biggest shot at a media opportunity is sending out a tease on Twitter that you're going to make an announcement about an announcement. Oh, and by the way, it never happened. Oh, and by the way, any fight that would be compelling, which would mean you have to leave the division and take on either Stipe or Daniel Cormier, has now been filled and is not by you. Oh, and by the way, a guy down a weight class is about to take over the top spot. It just makes you wonder, what kind of business are you in? If you're in the business of being really good at your sport and at your job and getting your hand raised, wow, great job. Here's an attaboy. Well done. If you're in the business of making money, you're not doing anything right. Nothing. You haven't planted a seed. You are not nurturing a crop. You do not have a payoff that is coming at the end of the season. It's questionable for many guys in the direction that they take, but they're not wrong. If they're coming in this with the same mentality that they had at 9 years old when they went out for Little League and it was just to have more points on the board when time ran out than the other guys, go to pizza with your buddies and have your mom and dad tell you, that's okay. There's not something wrong with that. I just want to make sure that your eyes are open, that there's two different things going on here. You have a sport and you have a business. You need to decide which one you want to be in. If I was to ask you point blank, genie pops out of a bottle, the old adage, right? But here's options he gives you. He doesn't give you 3 wishes, he gives you 2 options. It can make you world champion, or it can make you rich. Those are your options. You can't have both. Which do you choose? Would you rather be Shawn Michaels? Or would you rather be Hulk Hogan when it's all done?